Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart.
And we're live. Welcome to day 11 of the 12 days of giveaways. My name is Michelle, aka the Ignited Teacher, and what I do on this channel is I help math teachers or math interventionists to close learning gaps by providing them with evidence-based and research-based strategies that can be implemented in their classrooms or presented in any instructional setting as early as the next day. And thank you for tuning in. If you're watching live and you're new, type new in the comment section. If you are part of my community and you're watching on the replay, say hi in the comment section. But today we are winding down. And if you have been following me for the entire time, thank you for being a part of this 12 days of giveaway. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Tomorrow is our last day. And if you want to get the freebies, because I already know what's going to happen in January, when teachers have rejuvenated, refueled, and ready to hit the ground running in January, there are going to be questions. Well, I want the freebie. Well, I won't be going backwards. I'll be moving forward in some other things that I have planned for my business. So if you want to hop on these freebies and you want to get them, you are going to have to get on the email list. So you're going to join the 12 days of giveaway. Tomorrow is the last day. It's the very last day. And I will be laying this to rest. As a matter of fact, if you don't know, I am still a teacher and um, I will be going on break as well, but I'll still be live streaming through the break, putting content out there because some teachers, everybody has different schedules. So I will definitely still be doing that. But in order to get these 12 freebies, you're going to have to be on the email list and you have 1 day left. So today's topic is all about problem solving. And I always want to wrap things up when I teach or present strategies with problem solving because a lot of teachers tend to think that the most important thing is, oh, do I have a strategy to teach? It's not the math, it's the literacy. The literacy has been a real issue. I can remember seeing the issue creep up in mathematics my 10th year of teaching and noticing how students were coming less prepared to think and they were relying a lot more on the teacher to do the cognitive lift. And as the cognitive demand, if you're not familiar with that, the thinking became more heavy and required students to think through it, they did not want to do that or could not do it. Fortunately for me, I have taught reading, so it's not really, I mean, it's a big deal, but I know what to do when students are struggling with reading. I know how to take reading concepts and cross reference them with math to support literacy so my students can get a double dose of support. Now, on my blog post, my blog, if you're not aware, at fuelgreatminds.com, I'm going to show you a couple of blog posts that I have. The first one is problem solving, predicting with evidence, problem solving, connecting math to reading, and reading comprehension strategies in the classroom. These are things that I have used in my classroom with special education students, emerging bilingual students. A lot of these students have accommodations, and even on standardized tests, are able to have some of the text, especially in reading if you're in the state of Texas, or all of the questions in math can be read to them. So if you focus on the student's oral comprehension, you will get a greater lift in mathematics. A lot of the times, it's not the math, it's the problem solving that creates issues with the math, if that makes sense. So for me, when I'm looking at students in a holistic view, meaning I'm looking at their standardized tests, bubbling, yeah. Then I'm looking at what they're doing in my classroom as far as math intervention, in my tier one instruction, and I come up with a diagnosis of what the students are struggling with. And that goes back to the math intervention cycle. You have to be able to assess the situation first with students. And it may be a group of students that are having the same issue, but you have to be able to assess it and then diagnose it. That means to label it. So when I label things, label my students and figure out an issue, there are two paths that generally I look at. Are they struggling readers? And are they struggling with the math? So it's two different things that I look at. Sometimes students struggle with the reading but don't struggle with the math. I have seen that more oftentimes than not, which that is a harder fix for teachers. I'm not going to lie. If students struggle with math, math teachers are generally able to fix that. But when students struggle with reading, that's an issue that math teachers are clueless around the country about. And I'm not asking you to be the reading teacher. What I'm asking you to do is support literacy in your tier one instruction as an intervention for students who struggle, because it will help them digest and synthesize the information, especially in secondary. Secondary does a lot of interpreting, drawing conclusions, which are higher level thinking strategies for reading. And if you don't recognize that students interpreting graphs is difficult, then I implore you or I encourage you to look at the reading when it comes to interpretation and see how it connects with interpreting graphs. So there, when I was teaching fifth grade, oh Lord, I had a group of students that were struggling really, really bad with reading. So I created this. They were having a hard time drawing conclusions and coming up with a plan. Now, making inferences in math looks a lot different. It looks totally different, meaning that it we use inferences to look at what the problem is saying, what the words that are being used to tell us, hey, you're going to multiply, hey, you're going to divide, hey, this is this. This is an equation. These are integers that need. So that's drawing conclusion. We take that and make an inference. And let me see if I can make this bigger. So the problem says you give you have to always go back to what the problem says. A lot of our students are pulling things out of the hat. So you give them some thinking questions. What do you notice? That is real simple. If you ask students to discuss what they notice, I promise you they are going to, especially if they're struggling, they're going to give you things that doesn't connect to math. So it is your opportunity. I'm not going to say responsibility. That's an opportunity for you to take that and guide the thinking to the math to where it connects. And if you constantly redirect that thinking, the students will correct their own thinking. But if you never focus on it, the students will never make the correction. So I said, what does the problem ask? What do you notice? What are you wondering? A lot of our students aren't wondering anything. If you ask them what they're wondering, this is what you get. Yeah, deer in headlights. Or they give you an outlandish answer. No. So that's the first part in making inferences. And this can be done with any grade level. And I would hope that elementary teachers that are watching this, you just start with this real simple. The next one is I say, thinking questions. Stop and think. Real simple. Hard for students because a lot of our students are in this phase where I got to get the answer right. Well, I don't care about your answer because 9 times out of 10, the answer is wrong. So I need to know how you came to the conclusion of this answer and where's your plan. A lot of our students don't have a plan to answer these questions, these problems. So the next part is and so on your own. So it's 3 steps. You connect it. What are you connecting it? You're connecting your thinking and what the problem says to the math. Use what you know about the math and decide how to solve the problem. Real simple. This is making inferences in math. And guess what? Reading is thinking, even in math class. Because my students, they used to tell me, well, this is not a reading class. Well, you know what? Reading does occur in math. So that's what I told my students. That's why I put that up there in my emoji sticking his tongue out. Because they needed to understand that reading takes place everywhere. It is the foundation and the access to other subjects. If students can't read, they or understand, that's basic comprehension. They cannot access content in other areas. It doesn't happen like that. So the next step is this thinking and connecting. Let me move this up. It says, what does the problem tell me? What do you know about the math? Oh, that's an error right there. What steps do you think you should take? What math tool and operation will you use? This sets the students up to connect that reading to the math. And it's always focused on the math. The children get confused a lot of the times when they make this jump. I saw this in my own students' writing in this blog post that I wrote. So if you look right here, problem solving predicting with evidence, this is actually my students' work. And this is where this issue came from. So I use redraw right. There's no question there. But when my student was using the T-chart, predict, and the evidence, there was an issue here. The issue didn't start here with solving the problem. It started with the thinking part. And this is what I'm telling you when I say these are things that I've noticed in my own students. It starts with the thinking. If they can make the thinking visible, then you can correct that. So when the student made the mistake here in the evidence, I already knew that there was going to be an issue here because look, she carried it here. And on Tuesday, he plays the CD, and that was not correct. It was not supposed to be multiplication. So then there's the issue. And like I tell all of my students and other teachers, math, it just takes one number to be wrong. It doesn't take a whole bunch. This is not reading. We don't get partial credit. Either it's right or it's wrong. Unless you're doing a open-ended question or a constructive response question, you don't get partial credit. So if you can, like in your classroom, take students thinking to another level and really pay attention to how they're solving the problems and have a structured approach to how students are thinking. And that's the reading part. It's the reading comprehension and understanding and breaking down these problems. You will put your students ahead. Is it easy? Heck no. Does it take a long time? Absolutely. Are your administrators going to understand what you're doing? Probably not. But at the end of the day, it's worth connecting that reading to the math. And if you want to read these blog posts, you can always go up to fuelgreatminds.com and access my blog posts. If you're on Facebook, or I don't live stream to Twitter or LinkedIn, and you're watching this video, you can access my blog. The link to it is in the bio. And these are some things, and I have like university people that link these specific blog posts to their education courses. I had Rice University who was doing some research in how math reading affects mathematics, and they were interested in my blog post. So please make no mistake, this is very, very important in reading, and it's something that is worth looking at if you want to improve student outcomes. I had a teacher ask me, well, how did you get such strong results? It's methodical and it's strategic. When I start the school year, I have a strategic plan in place to springboard my students. And it's not about test scores. Make no mistake, it is not about test scores. It's all about improving their outcomes. People would not believe the minimum amount of time that I spend on test prep. I teach third graders. I do test prep 10 minutes a day. That is it. I spend most of my time teaching and learning. We don't do a lot of test prep. Test prep comes, I want to say May, April. That's when I start amping it up. But I teach test prep strategies little by little. I have a spiral review process that I implement in my class. I've been in a tested grade level for years. Testing is the least of my concern. I can get a student to pass a test, but my goal is greater than that. My goal is to get my students to understand mathematics, to like mathematics, and see it useful in their everyday lives. It goes beyond circling a bubble. That's not a goal of mine. Maybe when I was a younger teacher, but it's not a goal because I know that I can get kids to pass the test, but can I spark something in them where they get excited about math, where they get excited about the things that we're doing in class? That is the box that I check. And when they say, Miss Williams, I like this strategy, it makes sense to me. That's what moves me. And then when I see their score move, then I know that I have met my goal. So hopefully this making inferences is something that you can use in your classroom. Again, if you are interested in getting any of the freebies, I I definitely recommend that you join the 12 Days of giveaway. Tomorrow is the last day. On Saturday at midnight, this will close. And this will no longer be available for you to join. So, thank you for tuning in. And if you have any questions, as always, if you're on the email list, hit the reply button and ask away. And if you're watching this and you're not a part of the email list, leave a comment in the comment section and I'll respond as soon as possible. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 12, the last day of the 12 days of giveaway. Bye bye.